you have sent me away. And what can I do when I do what I do? You seem to haunt me all day. Now where can I find what I found when I first met you? You were unkind, but I simply can't forget you. Where shall I go when I go where I go? Since you have sent me away. Well, where shall I go when I go where I go? Since you have sent me away. And what can I do when I do what I do? You seem to haunt me all day. Why, where can I find what I found when I first met you? You were unkind, but I simply can't forget you. Where shall I go when I go where I go? Since you have sent me away.
That cover, that cloth you got for the cover is perfect.
Yeah, it's nice.
Exactly the right texture and color. The tape is just right too.
Yeah.
But now, you never can tell. This is another defective pinpoint.
We have a little pen problem, but we're working on it.
Just lovely. Oh, this one I ruined.
That's all right. That's all right. We have extra.
Okay, good.
We have about 700 extra. We don't want you to ruin 700 because that would be pushing it, but.
Seems good now. Okay, I'm sorry. This is 13, but I'm going to make another 13.
So you're on number 13, number
Yeah.
13.
This ink, I'm blaming the ink at this point. too heavy, but
Very
it
good.
can do no harm.
Oh,
I
we're
don't mind at all. This is going to be 14. No, actually my earliest memories are of Paris. When I can really remember when I was still, I suppose about 2 years old, and I had a nurse whom I loved very much. She became a nun. I felt very sad when she went away. But anyway, actually, it's very interesting to watch French mothers with their babies because they're training them to speak French from a very early age and to make French noises, you know, like eat and so forth. And they always explain to you that it's very important for their children to pronounce everything right from a very early age. So you see these babies making all these wonderful faces while they're making French noises. Nope. This is a dud again. I'm inclined to. I had dreams for years. And when I went to Paris, I realized that the dreams were very accurate memories of the subway. Have you been to Paris? You know the metro?
not to Paris.
It's an amazing thing, the metro, the underground. It's lined with tiles, and in my dreams I saw that. And also, there are very mysterious, huge doors made of wrought iron. It's sort of dark inside. I suppose that's where they keep all the stuff they need to keep the metro going. But anyway, they are very mysterious, cave-like parts, and those were all in my dreams for years. And then when I went to Paris, they all were. I realized that the metro made a huge impression on me when I was a child. It was wonderful going to Paris. I went to the Luxembourg Gardens, which is where I used to play when I was very young. And I had a feeling as though I actually belonged there the minute as I got to that part of Paris. And this pen point is behaving very, very badly.
Maybe you told us about the particular colors in Paris that were so important to the architecture.
Oh, the architecture is so wonderful, yeah. The beautiful.
And the orange awnings you mentioned.
The what?
The orange awnings.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. It is a wonderful city. Absolutely wonderful. 16.
And Marian, then so when you first thought to make the Paris book, you were asked by your friend.
Oh, well, what happened was, I realized when I was leaving Paris, I realized that I would want to make a book. So I took many, many photographs of the houses. And I must admit that that book is very influenced by Steinberg, you know, one of my favorite artists. It's okay now, I'm at 16, right?
What number is she on? 16, yes.
Yeah, 16. Um, so, um, so then when I got to America, my husband came from a town in New Jersey called Roosevelt. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but anyway. It was founded to be a kind of socialist colony. Originally they had such ideas, of course it didn't turn out to be that way at all. And the people who were in it were garment workers. My husband's parents were both garment workers. And the idea was that they could grow vegetables and have gardens as well as commuting to work. It was near Princeton, so there was a commuter train that went to New York from Princeton. So the sort of reigning monarch of this place, from my point of view, was the artist Ben Shahn, who was very fond of my husband. He's watched him growing up. And I showed him my work and he liked it very much. He was awfully nice about it. And he told me, he said, make a book. Make the most beautiful book you can. Of course, I'd already started the Paris book, so that's how the Paris book came into being. And then it had these many adventures. Not only that book, but other books I did have these adventures. People saying, I'm going to publish this, I don't care what it costs. Until they got the estimates. And at that time, it was very expensive to print anything small. All that's changed because of, I guess because of China. And Curt Valentin didn't want to publish it, but he said he was worried because books were a problem. And he showed me marvelous books by an artist whose name I can't remember exactly, but someone I admired very much. And he showed me these books and he shook his head and said that he couldn't sell them. They just couldn't be sold.
And then he passed away before he could publish the Paris book.
No, well then he died. He died not long after. When he was visiting the artist Marino Marini, another man who'd made those wonderful horses. 17. It was fun watching him selling pictures. He would be totally indifferent. Just let the client wander around looking at all the Picassos. And he'd go into his office, sort of act as though the person wasn't even there. And then, of course, they would buy quite a bit of now, this pen point is really misbehaving. So, later I got a job working for a 16, 17, 18, right?
18.
Working for a total charlatan who set himself up. He was not trained as a psychiatrist. He set himself up as a psychiatrist. He hired me for $1 an hour, which was a lot more money than it is now. And then I could draw all day. All I had to do was transfer the messages to him.
Was that in New York?
That was in New York, yeah. So that's when I did a very elaborate book, which was illustrations for the birds of Aristophanes. And I did it all there at that desk. But I could go to the Met and look at the Greek vases very easily from there. Gosh, 19. I hadn't expected these pinpoints to be so troublesome. Number 100. It's been written. Okay. It's nice to see it, actually.
Very good.
Where shall I go when I go where I go? Since you have sent me away. And what can I do when I do what I do? You